Jenny Menegay.
Good evening. So May 2nd has now become a very important day for our community. As the chairperson for the pro-Levey group, the Marlington Citizens Committee, I've been awarded a front seat view of our community and their thoughts surrounding issue 11. Recently, I finally had a chance to sit back and ponder, how am I going to spend these next moments with you guys tonight? And one word really came to mind for me, and that word was wow. I can never thank our wonderful community enough. The positive momentum is just wonderful, and it's just beyond words for me. So many of you have been embracing our need to move Marlington forward. To be able to see over 500 signs of support and know that we were sold out, I won't say sold out because we didn't sell them, sorry, apologize, don't want to make that mistake. We were out of signs in less than a week. Who would have ever thought that? I know I didn't. We had an opportunity to order more because it's what our community was reaching out for to show their support. And we're already at that point where those are almost out as well. It fills me with joy seeing how many in our community are moving forward and looking at our future. And yes, I've seen the no signs. I've seen those same signs in every election in the past. And that's okay. I have no problem with the no signs. I think it's been wonderful being able to see so many in our community for or against being able to have an opportunity to voice their concern and be able to talk about why they're against or why they're for. I think this has been a wonderful opportunity. Emotional, absolutely, but it's been a wonderful opportunity for everyone. It's not just about seeing the signs. It's also about seeing our community smile as they talk about the future of Marlington. I've appreciated hearing the hope for our children, and it's absolutely wonderful. To be in a group or one-on-one and ask them, are you aware of issue 11? And have them look right at me and say, you know, Jenny, it's time. We need to pass this. To talk to someone who is unsure and just help them answer questions and be able to see them talk about the importance for our children and be able to know that they'll be able to make that decision on May 2nd is also very powerful. The support of our community is vast. It is not isolated to one specific group in our community. We have business owners, business leaders, farmers, parents, students, facility and staff, and many community members who have come forward and have told me and many others that this will be the first time that they'll be voting yes, because they also feel it's time and that this is a solid plan. I do want to take a moment though and say thank you to those who are part of the opposition with the opposing view of mine. I actually had some very good, solid conversations with many of you. I appreciate all of the respectful conversations that we were able to have when we had them. Not all of them were. Some of them were very heated. Some of them, were very emotional. But it's an emotional issue, and it should be. We're talking about our children. We're talking about our community. But I do want to say thank you for bringing about the questions and bringing about the challenge. Because of having both sides so filled with emotion and so filled with challenge, we were able to really get this issue out there for people to talk about it and learn and find out what's really going on with our schools right now and where we can go with our future. So no matter what happens on May 2nd, I am really proud that we were able to get that information out there, no matter what your view is. I also want to say thank you to the many who have thanked me for my hard work. But you need to know it's not just me. I really have an amazing group of support working right beside me every step of the way. I want to say thank you for staying organized. Thank you for positively and factually answering questions when asked. Thank you for momentum, and thank you for making sure we could all be there for our community when they needed us. Thank you for letting me be a part of your team, and I can't wait to look at my daughter in the eye on May 3rd and let her know this was all worth it. Because you know what, it's time. It's definitely time to move Marlington forward. Thank you.
Mr. Rowley.
Thank you. I hope My name's Roger Raleigh, and I live at 4223 Anderson Avenue Northeast, and I'm going to tell you my thoughts about the bond issue. I'm going to try to read them. I am visually impaired, and you'll pick that up. The first thing that comes to my mind is there's a scripture. It says, "Whosoever stoppeth his ears from the cry of the poor, he also himself shall cry and shall not be heard." You know, I went to all 3 of those neighborhood meetings, and I learned a lot. And, you know, there was an elderly lady that, and one of them came up, she says, "I can't afford that." And the expression on her face, I mean, she couldn't afford it. You know, and then there was another man says, "I can't afford it either." And you know, I said to him, you know, you spend your life paying for your house, and then one school levy comes up and you might have to move because you can't afford it. Well, you know what? There is an alternative. And you know, one of the board members voted, said that, you know, because it was going to cost him more to go to a tax, income tax levy than go with the property tax. He didn't want that. So, and that was printed in the review. That's my first concern. Then the second thing is, and I've expressed this before, that you know, this bond issue should be based on design-build teams. You know, if we would get 3 design-build teams to give us a bid on designing, on constructing a 1 elementary school.
Roger, you've got about 10 seconds.
Okay. Well, that's what we need as a design-build team. And Leslie said the other things. And okay, another thing that came up is what about the high school? And you know, and that was explained. That anyway, my comments are I think the levy needs reworked, and one of the people in the that I met said that he would volunteer in for his services as a professional. And you know, my background is in architecture and in project managing and estimating, and I would volunteer my services too. And there's a whole slew of people a wealth of people in Marlington that could volunteer their services. Thank you. I hope I got it.
Thank you. Ms. Pierce?
Yes. Maria Depot. Come on.
Hello, my name's Maria Depot, and I'm here with 3 of my 4 children. I'm a 95 Marlington alum. I'm a certified teacher, and I currently sub for the school district. I've been researching for over 2 years about the conditions of our buildings, and I've talked to many teachers. Since I'm in the buildings regularly, I've seen some poor conditions firsthand. This winter, the kindergarten class I was subbing for, the kids asked to wear their coats. I personally had to dodge buckets in the hallways that collected the rainwater. I subbed for a 2nd grade social studies class this year in October, and I had the opportunity to hear the Washington Historical Society speak 4 different times that day. And they were very informative. They talked about how their first year in the newly built building and how that felt. And this was the building at Washington. They were going to have indoor plumbing and restrooms, and they brought in a little outhouse so the kids knew what an outhouse was. They were going to have a cafeteria, and that wasn't going to go into effect until about 6 more months into the year. But they were soon going to have hot meals. The 3 guests, who were very nice, said that they felt so much pride in their school. They were so excited for their new school. This was 65 years ago. I sat there that day. I'm sorry, I get emotional talking about this. And I thought about the sense of pride my children will have in their newly built elementary, and all the children in the future that will learn and grow in a safe, energy-efficient, modern facility. I am voting for issue 11. I hope our community will embrace this great opportunity. Thank you.
Ms. Fritz?
Amy Coleman, regarding new school.
Hi, my name is Amy Coman, and I'm a resident of Marlington and also a teacher here at the high school. We moved to Marlington from our home at Lake Mohawk because of the situation at Brown Local Schools. They were struggling to get a levy passed, and we wanted a better educational opportunity for our children. I was active in campaigning there, and now we find ourselves in the same situation here that we were there. Trust me, I heard the same opposing issues as I'm hearing now. I also heard them when I was interim president of Chamber of Commerce of Minerva when they were trying to get their new school. I heard them, I was teaching at Alliance when they tried to get the new middle school built there instead of Stanton and State Street. There are a lot of emotions on all sides, especially from the older people in the community who wanted to keep their schools, the parents who were opposed to busing their kids, the people who were just against taxes and couldn't afford them, and from people at State Street who didn't want their children mixing with those kids. Doesn't sound all that much different than what we're seeing here. But what I can tell you, at Alliance, eventually Brown Local, after we moved, of course, and Minerva, Louisville, the teachers, staff, and students only look forward. Within a few months of opening their new doors, I was there at the middle school. All was forgotten. The kids meshed. There was great opportunities for learning. It was fabulous. They were Alliance. We can be Marlington. Those opposed to issue 11 have brought up things like we shouldn't be like Cloverleaf, we shouldn't be like Louisville, and I'm not one to just take people's word for it, so I did my own research. The superintendent at Cloverleaf said our elementary school has been extremely well received, and the community has become the source of community pride, especially considering our one campus feel we have with all 3 buildings together. I talked to my teacher friends at Louisville Elementary. They said they're surprised to hear that people have heard that they're opposed to this or have had trouble with it. They love being able to work together, where the teachers work together, collaborating, every math teacher. The only thing that they've heard that is anti-positive from being there is that they still have 2 schools, and everybody wishes they were together because they have K through 2 at North and M, and some at the other school. So as far as statistics, I love research. The other thing, if we pass the bond issue, we'll still have lower taxes than everywhere else. If you live in Alliance and you went to Alliance schools, you'll still be paying $241 less than people that go to Alliance. So whoever wants to move, I'm not sure where they're going to go. If you live in Marlboro, but you pay Lake school taxes instead of Marlington, even with the bond issue, you're going to pay $460 more a year. That's for a $100,000 home. So most homes are worth more than that. It's going to be more. If you live in Washington and you live in Louisville District versus Marlington, with the bond issue, you'll still pay $142 more a year for a $100,000 home. Most of us have more than that. So I ask you, it's time. What are we going to do? We can either just lay back and do nothing, watch our buildings fall apart, and our poor kids. I work here. I know how our kids feel when other kids come in and say, ooh, this school's ghetto, you know? Okay. So I know the emotion behind it. The kids, they don't care about Washington. They don't care about Lexington. They don't care about Marlboro. They want to be together. My kids do. So let's move Marlington forward and keep it great. Thank you. So.